Good morning, my adorables. Let's read Corduroy by Don Freeman. Corduroy was a bear that lived in the toy department of a big store. Day by day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for someone to come and take him home. The store was always filled with guests, busying of all sorts, and no one seemed to want the smaller bear with the green overalls. One morning, a little girl came and stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy, look, this is the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," said her mother. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new, and he's lost a button on one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I will go and I will find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving underneath him. Quite by accident, he had stepped on the escalator and up it went. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator, and when he reached the next floor, there before his eyes was an amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and row by rows of beds. "This must be a palace," said Corduroy. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." And he wandered about admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep on a bed." So he crawled up onto the top thick mattress. At once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button!" he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons, it was tied down tight. He yanked and he pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off went the mattress with Corduroy. He tumbled onto the floor with a bang and right into a tall table lamp that fell over with a crash. Corduroy didn't know that there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was making his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Now, who in the world did that? Someone must be hiding in here. He flashed his light up and over the sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. There were two fuzzy ears sticking out from underneath the covers. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arms and carried him down the escalators and set him on the toy shelf with the other toys and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store, and there, looking at him with a wide, big smile, was the little girl they had seen the day before. "I'm Lisa, and you're going to be my very own bear. And last night I counted all the money I had saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the sales lady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa asked, and she carried Corduroy all the way home in her arms. and she ran up the 4 flights of stairs into her parents' apartment and straight to her room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair, a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed, just the right size for him. And the room was small and nothing enormous like the palace of the department store. "This must be a home," he said. "I know, I've always wanted a home." And Lisa sat Corduroy down on her lap and she began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you just the way you are, but now you'll feel more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and she gave him a big hug.